Welcome to a very special episode of the Mental Playbook. Today I'm celebrating our 10th episode, and I thought it was the perfect time to share my journey, what inspired this podcast, and my goals for the future. Let's dive in. For those of you who are new to the Mental Playbook, here's a little about who I am and how I got here. I grew up trying a variety of sports, including basketball, volleyball, soccer, tennis, flag football, and so much more. And I faced both mental and physical challenges as an athlete and, decided to seek help and resources to get me through my athletic journey. I struggled with injuries, negative environments, and challenges not only with teammates but coaches too. I knew that I wasn't the only one dealing with these obstacles, so that's when I decided I wanted to learn about other athletes' stories and journeys. My dad grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, so obviously we became a Steelers family. I didn't show much interest in playing and watching sports when I was little, but when I got to high school, watching sports was my favorite thing. As for mental health, my mom is a psychologist, and I share an interest in understanding human behavior and coping mechanisms as well. And starting my podcast was difficult in the sense that I felt pressure to be creative when designing my logo, my brand, and the website. But overall, it was a fun journey that I wouldn't have been able to do during school, which is why I started the Mental Playbook in the summer of 2024. So it's been some months now. And the moment I realized it was doable to start a podcast, I became fully committed. I remember reaching out to hundreds of people on Instagram and LinkedIn, and when I got one response that truly made my day. And I chose the name, The Mental Playbook. Well, originally I was going to choose, I think I was deciding between The Mental Game and The Mental Playbook. But then I quickly came up with the idea of this mental playbook and the meaning behind it, because a physical playbook is a guide that athletes use to navigate strategies, understand plays, and, execute their game plan. And I wanted the mental playbook to serve the same purpose, but for mental wellness. It's a resource for navigating the ups and downs of life, both on and off the field, and helping people develop the strategies they need to succeed emotionally, mentally, and physically as well. So looking back, this journey has been incredible, and I've learned so much. So I want to tell you about some of the lessons I've learned from hosting the Mental Playbook podcast. And I think one of the most important lessons I've learned from my guests is that athletes, whether famous or everyday ones, don't want to be remembered just for their achievements, but for who they are as people and the impacts they've made on others. So this really stood out to me in, I think it was episode 2 with Dermani Dawson, as well as episode 8 actually with Bianca Smith. Their words resonated with me because I totally feel the same way. I want my legacy to be one of kindness, humor, and a desire just to help others and always be learning and improving, because that's truly who I am and that's how I want other people to know me as. And as a host, I've learned that not everything will go as planned. I can't expect every topic my guests discuss to be lighthearted or positive. Sometimes conversations take a deep and emotional turn, and honestly, that's okay. In fact, those moments are often the most meaningful for me, and in the conversation, I've just learned to embrace those times and to listen and just to empathize, because that's what makes sense during that time, and that's what makes these, again, conversations valuable and memorable. My last lesson is that growth takes time and consistency, and I'm still going through this journey with my podcast. And, when I first started the Mental Playbook, I wasn't sure how it would evolve. Obviously, I had expectations, but it definitely took time for me to get where I am today. And I realized each episode, each guest, and each conversation has helped me grow, not just as a host, but as a person, whether it's learning to ask, better questions in the conversation, or just improving my editing skills, or finding new ways to promote my podcast, because it does take time again, and it is a lot. I've learned that success doesn't happen overnight, and it's about showing up, putting in the work, and just staying passionate about the message I want to share and want to continue to share. It's interesting because I always thought influencers got famous overnight, and maybe some of them did, but in a way it truly does take time to get better and to reach the right audience for you. I've interviewed, I want to say 9 guests so far. This is my 10th episode, which I'm really excited about. And in general, interviewing guests has broadened my perspective by allowing me to learn from others about their unique journeys, and some I can relate to and others I've come to deeply empathize with, but each conversation has given me insights into resilience, mindset, and personal growth and development, shaping the way I see both sports and life together. One of my favorite episodes or moments that I'm proud of, it's really difficult to pick an episode I'm most proud of, but if I had to choose 2, it would be my first episode called When Passion Meets Perseverance, and my latest episode 9, Riding the Waves. And when listening to both of them, I can see how much I've grown, not just as a speaker, but also as a storyteller and an interviewer. In the first episode, I was just starting out, figuring out my style, learning how to navigate conversations, and just building confidence behind the mic, because it was new to me. It was obviously very different from what I usually do, and now with episode 9, I can hear the progress I've made in my ability to ask deeper questions and guide discussions more organically and just connect with my guests, because that's what I love to do. And seeing that growth reminds me why I started the Mental Playbook in the first place, which is, to learn, improve, and share meaningful stories with the world, which my guests have done a great job of doing, and I love it. So beyond this podcast, I obviously have dreams of my own and dreams I want to share with you. I'll start off with my career aspirations. I want to tell a little story. At my kindergarten graduation, I proudly told the audience that when I grow up, I want to be a hair cutter. And while cutting hair still seems fun, my passion for sports and business has led me toward a different path and a different road. I now aspire to become a sports agent, and my ultimate goal is to start my own female-led sports agency, empowering young girls to pursue careers in the sports industry and make a meaningful difference in the world. And I plan to attend a 4-year college to study economics, psychology, and sports business, followed by law school, which sounds like a lot, but I'm willing to do it all. So this podcast fits perfectly into those aspirations because it has given me firsthand experience in storytelling, building relationships, and understanding not just the physical side, but the mental side of athletics as well. And through the Mental Playbook, I've had the opportunity to connect with athletes, coaches, and industry professionals, skills that will be invaluable in my future career as a sports agent. So I do have a plan to grow as a person and a creator in the next few years, and by doing so, I want to continue to challenge myself and seek new experiences and just stay open to learning, because as a host, I want to develop my speaking skills and keep refining it while expanding my network and elevating the Mental Playbook by reaching a larger audience. I also want to have deeper, more impactful conversations, and on the other hand, I'll experiment with new strategies and like through improving editing and marketing skills, because I'm really trying to push this podcast out to those who want to listen to it and also learn from me and my guests and I. I'm excited to collaborate with more voices in the sports and wellness field. That's something I'm going to continue to do. And personally, I aim to step outside my comfort zone, whether through leadership roles, internships, or studying abroad, because I want to continue building resilience and embracing the feedback that I get and staying just curious about the intersection of sports, business, and psychology. So growth is a constant journey for me, and I'm excited to see where it takes me. For the Mental Playbook, I'm excited to expand and make an even bigger impact over the next year. My goals are just to grow my audience, like I said before, and bring on more diverse guests and create even more engaging content. I plan to improve and experiment with different episode formats to see what works best, and while increasing, my presence on social media to reach a wider community. I also want to collaborate with athletes, sports professionals, and mental health advocates to further break the stigma around mental wellness in sports. Another big goal is to secure sponsorships or partnerships that align with my podcast's mission, allowing me to invest in better resources and potentially take the Mental Playbook to another level by opening it up as a bigger platform for individuals to find support and the resources they need to get better or just improve themselves or reach the goals that they've always wanted to reach. Most importantly, I want to continue fostering meaningful conversations that not only inspire, but educate and along with resonate with my listeners, helping them create and develop their own mental playbooks with confidence and hope. I think when choosing guests for the Mental Playbook, my goal is to bring on individuals with unique perspectives and experiences. I want to feature athletes from sports I haven't covered yet, as well as other key figures in the sports community, such as trainers, performance coaches, sports psychiatrists. There's so many people in the sports community that I would love to talk to and learn more about. And, these voices can provide insight into the mental and physical side of sports from different angles. But overall, I want to keep each episode engaging, informative, and different from the last. So listeners can always walk away with something new. And so can I. I truly hope the Mental Playbook can inspire others to prioritize mental wellness in sports just as much as physical performance. And too often mental health takes a back seat, but I want to see a shift where athletes, coaches, and fans recognize that mental wellness is essential for success and just overall well-being. I hope this podcast encourages more open conversations about mental health in sports, breaking down stigmas, and just promoting a culture where seeking help is seen as a strength rather than a weakness. And by sharing personal stories and advice from experts, I want to encourage athletes of all levels to take care of their minds the same way they take care of their bodies, in the gym, on the field. Do the same thing with your mind. Go out for a walk. Just take care of yourself. Love yourself. I truly believe in all of that, and I truly believe we can improve individually and together. So I know the Mental Playbook will leave a lasting legacy. I just want it to remain a space where conversations about mental health are normalized and where people learn that it's not only okay to struggle, but that it's okay to seek help and embrace improvement and growth through facing adversity. And this platform is not just for athletes and individuals in the sports world, it's for everyone with a desire to be better than they were yesterday. Before wrapping it up, I want to take some time to answer some questions from you listeners. Feel free to ask more questions in the comments below on Spotify. One question is, who's your dream guest for the podcast? While I have many dream guests, I think it would have to be Simone Biles. I've always admired her. I've always admired gymnastics, and she's not only an amazing athlete, but also a powerful voice for mental health in sports. And one of my favorite quotes from her is, "People don't get that we have anxiety, that we break down. They just think we're perfect." And this quote has always stuck with me. It resonates so deeply because it sheds a light on the pressure athletes face to just appear flawless and just perfect, especially in sports like gymnastics, even when we as individuals are all struggling, right? This quote has stuck with me to the point where I've included it in college essays because I believe in its message so strongly. It's not just the words that matter, it's the actions too, right? So Simone's openness about her challenges has truly broken down so many barriers, and I just love to hear about her journey and how she navigated both the highs and lows of being in this public eye. And I also watched her documentary, and I already feel like I know her so well, and we can definitely be best friends. Another question is, who is your role model or biggest influence? So I look up to many incredible people, but I think the person I'm becoming is truly my biggest role model because, I have a vision for my future, and I'm excited to continue growing and flourishing as a person. And the qualities I aspire to have, like resilience, kindness, strength, passion, those are already within me, and I know that over the next few years, I'll become more confident in who I am and where I'm going, and I can't wait to see how I evolve and to be inspired by the version of myself that I am working toward. Yeah, I couldn't have done this without all of you listening. If you've enjoyed this journey so far, I'd love to hear from you. Reach out, share your thoughts, and let me know what you'd like to see in future episodes. Yeah, so to my listeners, mind strong, game on. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you got to learn a little bit more about myself. Bye.